But here is the truth. It's a secret. Native speakers also feel like this. All around the world, people feel like their social skills are starting to atrophy. They're not interacting with people in big group settings anymore. They're losing community. They're scrolling TikTok and Xiaohongshu for hours. Do you really struggle socially? Maybe you feel like your communication skills have actually gotten worse over time, or like you can't be yourself. And this is especially true for my clients who are fluent in English, but they still struggle with communicating in that second language professionally and socially. Lots of cultural differences, and English small talk is so stressful. They feel like these social connections are so difficult. And I've helped hundreds of clients to overcome these challenges and speak more confidently in social settings. But here is the truth. It's a secret. Native speakers also feel like this. All around the world, people feel like their social skills are starting to atrophy. They're not interacting with people in big group settings anymore. They're losing community. They're scrolling TikTok and Xiaohongshu for hours, and they're getting food delivered. They're not going out with their friends. When you don't use something, you start to lose something, whether it's languages or skills, and these social skills are starting to deteriorate, break down. They're not as strong as maybe they were when you were in university and you were socializing all the time. This is so normal. But with a combination of mindset shifts and communication skills, you can start to rebuild the social skills that you've lost. Or if you feel like you've never had them, you can start building them now, because it's never too late and you can start to make connections with confidence. So before we dive into anything specific, let me just say again what atrophy actually means. So atrophy means to waste away, especially as a result of degeneration of cells or to gradually decline in effectiveness in some way. So we most often, or at least I have heard this referred to when talking about muscles. If you build your muscles and then you stop going to the gym, they're going to atrophy. But we're talking about it in terms of social skills right now. Very often my clients will come to me and say, I'm not using my English every day. I used to live in an English speaking country, but I feel like I'm losing it. And that's an atrophy of skills. We have a saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And this is so true when it comes to language. When you lived in the English-speaking country, every single day you had to interact. You had to activate that part of your mind that could express everything that you needed to say. But if that's not a default anymore, then naturally that active vocabulary will just fall into passive vocabulary. The same is happening with your social skills. If you don't have to use social skills day to day, then why would they stay at the front of your mind, ready and available? They're getting lazy and you don't need them anymore, at least you think. As with most of my videos, we have both mindset reframes and practical reskills. So first we have 3 mindset reframes. 1, this isn't just a language problem, it's a human problem that everyone's struggling with. So very often, all of my clients automatically think that this is my fault because this is not my first language. I'm awkward, I don't know what to say, and no one wants to be friends with me. No, I promise, that's never the scenario. It's just not. The fact that you are putting so much effort into the language, which is inherently personal development, you care so much, especially you're coming to me for coaching, you're rarely the problem. I know my clients are rarely the problem. There's a confidence problem there, absolutely, but you are being kind and trying to make connections and you're making an effort. You just need to reframe how you're thinking about the scenario and also implement specific skills and things. But it's not a you problem. Most people are struggling with this. People nowadays, as I said, we're all isolated and we're on our phones all the time. And this is something that you'll hear me say all the time on this channel. It's not just a language problem or a you problem, it's a human problem. This is something that we're all struggling with, especially when it comes to connection and small talk and confidence. Everyone struggles with those things. There's an added challenge of language when it comes to you and whether it's your second language, but this is something a lot of people are struggling with too. So don't think it's always your fault. Next, you need to put yourself in the position, in the situation to build these social skills. So you quite literally need to take this step to get yourself where you can have these conversations. That means taking the step towards your coworker in the break room, asking, how's your weekend going? It means going up to your Pilates instructor and saying, oh, that was a great class, thanks. It means getting in the same room as your boss to talk about this upcoming project that you really want. You actually have to make an effort and put yourself in the place where the growth can happen. And this is maybe the most difficult. The most difficult part of going to the gym is getting to the gym. Getting ourselves to put ourselves in this situation is so hard because everything is screaming at us to not do it. It's really uncomfortable. And this brings us to our third mindset shift. When you feel uncomfortable, it's a sign that you're doing the right thing. You're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So when you're going up to your boss, going up to your coworker, smiling and asking the cashier how their day's going, this is not normal for you. This social interaction, this small connection, or big connection, this feels foreign. And quite literally it might be because you're in a different country, but it's not what you normally do day to day. And so it's gonna feel uncomfortable. Everything in your body is screaming at you, don't do this, this is not safe. But those fight or flight instincts, it's like me right now recording this video. My chest is tight, I feel uncomfortable. Everything in me is saying, don't do this, don't put yourself out there, this is unsafe. But I know that this is a step in the right direction for the future me that I want. Just like when you're making the effort to have these conversations, it doesn't feel good in the moment, but you know that this is a step in the right direction towards the person that you want to be and the connections that you want to have. So you have to put yourself in the position and you have to engage with that feeling of discomfort. And it's not fun, but you can build the confidence after it happens of like, oh, I felt uncomfortable, but I survived. So to summarize these mindset shifts, you have to remind yourself that this isn't just a you problem. Everyone is struggling with these social skills atrophying nowadays, and you have to put yourself in the position to build these skills in the specific situations. And once you're in those situations, celebrate the discomfort. See it as a sign that you're moving in the right direction and you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, because growth only happens outside of your comfort zone. And I will be here to cheer you on while you're doing it. So now on to the skills part of the video. So we have 3 different skills. Number 1 is to write down a list of positive reference points. Now, what are positive reference points? The way you evaluate or assess something. Reference points help you to sense if you're moving in the right direction. So when you have a positive reference point, this is a positive interaction, something that you're proud of, something that you want to remember and build on. You have to write them down. Write them down. Because your brain will naturally overlook 90% of your wins because they're really small. And you might think it's embarrassing that it's this small. But if it's outside of how you normally act, who you normally are, then it's a win and it's a positive reference point. If you smile at Starbucks, at the cashier, and you don't normally smile because in your culture, it's not normal to smile at people you don't know, that's a win. Because in the US, it is a requirement to smile in order to engage and make connections with people. So that's a win if it's outside of your comfort zone. Write it down. Asking your coworker one question, how was your weekend? If you don't normally do that, that is a positive reference point. And they respond, write it down. All of these small things are wins, and you need to write them down. And if they went well, say, oh, that worked. Let's do it again tomorrow. And the more positive reference points you have, the more confidence you're going to build, and the more you realize, oh, I can do this. It sounds so simple. How could that work? It's so simple. Sometimes it is the simplest things. But it's not only just writing them down, you also have to celebrate them, which brings me to point number 2. Now, you won't celebrate your wins, but I will. I will help you to realize that that smile, that question, that even sitting at the table that your friends or coworkers or your Pilates group is having a conversation at, not leaving and just sitting there and smiling and sipping your coffee, if you don't normally do that, that is a win. Write it down and celebrate that. Say, I don't normally do that and I felt uncomfortable, but I sat there and I didn't die. That is a win. Yes, it is. We so often overlook our wins because they seem so small, as I said, but that doesn't reinforce them, and we need to reinforce them. Most of these small talk and social interactions, they are really small. The small things are what build up to the bigger relationships. So you need to celebrate your positive reference points and celebrate your wins. Write them down, as I said, and celebrate them. Write them in the comments below. I will celebrate them. I would love to have future videos where I just celebrate wins of people. I'll do like live streams in the future. And finally, third, you need to reflect on your negative reference points like a scientist. So as we said, reference points are ways to gauge if you're moving in the right direction, and positive reference points are things that make you feel good, things that make you feel like you're moving forward. Negative reference points is what our brain fixates on 99% of the time. So if you feel uncomfortable or awkward, if you're super embarrassed, maybe you're like me and you will replay it in your head until you die. And that's unhealthy. We don't want to do that. We don't want to fixate on and ruminate on negative reference points. We want to analyze it later after it happens when we're less emotionally tied to it, like a scientist. So James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, highly recommend you read it. He wrote a really great article, and the concept is featured in his book of Fail Like a Scientist. It's right here. I'll give you the summary. He talks about how scientists have hypotheses when they're creating an experiment. And if what they expect to happen doesn't happen, they don't say, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible scientist. Like, I'm never going to run another experiment again. No, they just see it as a reference point, a sign of, okay, so maybe I need to adjust this experiment in this way. I need to change my hypothesis. They learned something that they can use to move on to the next step. That's why I love the phrase, you're not winning or losing, you're winning or learning. Because every loss, every failure, every negative reference point is a way for you to learn and grow and develop and improve. So you need to reflect on your negative reference points like a scientist. So after you have that awkward conversation or when you feel like something didn't go well, later, when you've calmed down from the interaction, you need to reflect and you need to think, what did I say that makes me think that it went horribly? Or what did that person say that triggered this nervous reaction? Think about it like this. Don't just say, I'm bad. I can't have any social interactions or friends ever again. No one likes me. Believe me, that's what I used to say too. Sometimes I still do, but we need to reflect and be kind to ourselves and look at this in a different way, because that's the only way that we're going to grow. So we want to celebrate our positive reference points, but we also don't want to disregard our negatives. We need to analyze and learn, and then we can grow. So in summary, when it comes to these skills, write down your positive reference points, celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are, and reflect on your negative reference points like a scientist. You're not failing, you're learning and growing. This is so important. So I hope these mindset shifts and these skills are helpful for you and that you can implement them today and start learning and growing in the new year. I have so many more tips and things that can help you, and I'm excited to make more videos in the future. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.